Being a field inspector can get very stressful at times. And I know there are a lot of you out here who are stressed right now as I speak, because a few of you have brought it to my attention of how stressful it can get when you're trying to set these appointments. So we're talking today about appointment settings, not about drive-ups, okay? If you are setting appointments with these insureds are people who own the properties, who are either over the properties, it doesn't matter. If you're setting up an appointment with these people, and sometimes it seems like you're being thrown around, you're being tossed over to this side and then tossed back to that side, and it's just taking you forever to get these appointments set. Trust me, this is just a part of what happens as a field inspector. I do get lucky a time or two when I call someone and they just straight answer the phone. Well, I'm going to say more than a time or two. Most of the time someone is going to answer the phone and they are going to set an appointment. But what do you do when you run across those who are just really hard to deal with when it comes to appointment setting? Sometimes, you're going to have to just realize that this is part of the game. First of all, you're going to have to realize that this is just something that we deal with. As I spoke before on one of my videos, if you are one who are under the impression that all you have to do is just take photos and get paid, I'm pretty sure you found out that that could not be further from the truth. To just take pictures, it's way more to it than that. Outside of sketching, outside of making appointments, outside of people counseling, outside of something coming up and you possibly having to counsel, rescheduling. Outside of the company themselves probably sending you emails back to back, or someone from the company possibly even calling your phone, or you've set an appointment with someone and then they call you and want to reschedule for another day. It just never stops. The communication never stops. And no matter where I am, no matter what I'm doing throughout my day, I'm always having an earpiece of something in my ear, because the work never stops, even on the days that I say I have taken off. So when you're making these appointments, don't let the insurance stress you out. I mean, there are ways to get around it to get it done. And a lot of you are concerned about the actual pay itself. And what I mean by that is, I've had someone bring it to my attention that they've had a few appointments that they needed to do, and they thought they would be able to get them all done in that week, and then it ended up going into the second week before they could even get all the appointments set. And with that being said, when it's time to get paid, you're not getting but a portion of your inspections on your paycheck when you had already calculated all of the inspections because you knew what you needed to do. Of course, I understand that we have responsibilities. The only thing I can say to kind of help you out is what I do. I'm just going to throw it out there. Maybe it'll help a few of you. Some of you are probably already doing it. But for those of you who don't do this, just listen up, okay? When you start to make your appointments, you get your files, you print them out. Most of the companies, once again, it's going to have some sort of way that they have you call people, right? Okay. There's a certain way that you make your appointments. Most of them will tell you to call them at least twice. After the second time, call the agency. Okay, so when you call the first one, it may say somewhere on your paperwork, depending on the company you're working for, that after day 5, if you haven't heard anything from them, then call them again. And then you want to wait and give them time to respond, and then you call the agency. Okay, well, think about this. If you call with new files on Monday, which is day 1, and you leave a voicemail because they didn't respond, and then you wait until right up to day 3 or 5, between 3 and 5, to call them again, you've already lost a work week with that one file. And now they're most definitely probably not going to respond to you over the weekend. So then by Monday of next week, now you're calling the agency. As soon as you call the agency, 9 times out of 10, the agency is going to want you to shoot them an email. They may respond over the phone. They may help you, because I'm not going to knock them all, because I know a lot of them do, but a lot of them would not. So if they don't help you when you decide that you want to call them and they want you to shoot them an email, so now you're going through that cycle all over again, but with the agency. But what I have learned is that if you utilize the email that you have, if you have one, because a lot of files are not going to have the insurance email on the file. So if you happen to have an email on the file for the insured, you need to utilize that email as soon as you possibly can. So when I know that I'm really trying to just go ahead and get these inspections done, get them knocked out, get them taken care of as quickly as I can. I do realize that a lot of people, just like me and you have to think about it if it was you. Put yourself in their shoes. If it was you, how often do you answer phone calls of numbers that you do not know? If someone's calling you and you don't recognize that number, you're not going to answer pretty much, because a lot of times we are busy like that. And if we not, most times if I'm not busy, if I don't recognize the number, I didn't answer. I only just recently started really just getting into answering the phone calls, because I know I have called people trying to set up appointments, and I'm hoping they'll call me back. Maybe they'll call me off of a different number and I didn't know it. I don't want to miss that phone call and they leave me a voicemail. Right? And now I got to try to call them back, and now we're back on this chase game all over again. So imagine if it was you. Put the shoes on your feet and see how you would respond. You know that 9 times out of 10 you're not going to answer the phone. Hopefully they'll do what? They'll respond to their email. So you may want to consider sending an email out. Most of my people who I send emails to, that's how they respond to me. So that way you don't have to wait 3-4 days, because it's not mandatory that you wait after the first call up to 3 to 5 business days before you make that next call. That most definitely is not mandatory. They're just telling you that they prefer that you contact them at least by that point. So if you can send them an email that day, the same day that you actually made the first phone call, I mean, that would be great. If you decide not to, at least do it the day after. But utilize the email. Don't be afraid to use the email. Now, if they don't respond after you have left a voicemail and you've sent them an email, then the next thing you need to do is, just as the file says, wait, give it a few days, and then call them again and give them a second chance off of the voicemail. The reason why I say give them a second chance again is because nowhere on the file does it say that you have to send anyone an email. This is just something extra that I do to make sure that I have done everything that I can to get in touch with this person, so that I can put it in the file, in the computer, showing them that I am trying to get in touch with this person, and apparently we're being a little ignored over here. All right, so then after that, I'm going to contact the agency. But if you utilize the email, I'm telling you, for those of you who've been doing this a while, put it in the comment section and tell me what your experience has been when it comes to using the emails to try and get in touch with the people who own the properties. And maybe we can have a little conversation about it in the comment section, because I know that a lot of you are stressing over that one call, and I'm telling you, if you just add the email to it, sometimes that does help to get people to respond to you a little quicker. A lot of them are somewhere, they're sitting around, and they answer their emails a whole lot quicker than they do a phone call, especially coming from a number that they have no idea who is on the other end of the line. I hope that tip has helped and could possibly help some of you out. Don't be afraid to use the email. Stay stress-free as much as you possibly can, because the job itself is not hard. The hardest part about this job is the first step. Once you make that first step, roll out, get to that first location. And the reason why I wanted to go ahead on and talk about this today anyway is because a lot of you have jumped straight past the homes and straight into commercial. Okay, I see you, but you can't be afraid when it comes to these appointments now. You can't be afraid and weary when it comes to calling these insurers and trying to make sure that you can set these appointments up. You know what I'm saying? Stand your ground, be confident, okay? Be a powerhouse on the other end of that phone when you leave your voicemails. Give them as much information as you can. And if you don't hear anything from them and you feel like it that day, that file says there's an email, shoot them one. All right. So you guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. I'll be bringing you back something later. Thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.